Hey, it's Landry, y'all. Welcome. It's the first Tuesday of the new month of October. Welcome to Scotch on the Bayou. I'm Leanne. I'm so excited that y'all are here. You're in for a treat. We're in for a treat tonight. Pretty excited about that. Want to say hello to everyone and see who all is in at the moment. It's good to see Sugar Kitty and Donner Pass just at the top of the mountain with the casinos, North Shore Tahoe. You're really roughing it there, friend. Gee whiz, good that you can join us tonight, friend. Appreciate it. Jimmy Jazz is in. Hello there, and Mark JG, who I happen to know. He and his lovely bride of more than a couple of years have had their anniversary today. So happy anniversary to you and Allison. Give her a hug for me. That's awesome. Yes, Mark JG, happy anniversary. Good to see Jim Kim Rhetoric. Yay. Awesome. Um, excited. Yeah, Mark, Jimmy Jazz knows Mark. Uh, Oh, Jimmy, you're headed to the UK in November. That's fantastic. Excited for you on that. I'm sure doing some London Whiskey Club. Very jealous over that. Can't wait to hear about it. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Glad you're in. Hello, everyone. This is going to be a fun night. I'm really pretty stoked about it. Hello, Graham. Glad that you are here. Um, it's your birthday this morning? What? So on the second, because it's after midnight. So happy birthday, Graham. We're gonna have some hella drams in your honor then. That's the case. I'm so excited for you. Happy birthday. Watching from Taco Tuesday, Dustin. Awesome. Drinking Lone Star, but old Scotch when you get home. I know you've got some good stuff at home for sure. And hopefully get to see you later on this month. That's cool. So yeah, we had back in March, I think it was, we had a really good time with my guest tonight who has an incredible palate and a great curiosity of Scotch to where he finds some really cool stuff. And because he is the generous soul that he is, likes to share it. So I'd like for you all to welcome my buddy. I'm going to make him sit over here. If he can get in the chair, say hello to Kevan.
Hello.
BR Scotch. Just let me know if y'all can hear both of us okay, since we're sharing a mic. We'll see how that goes. But yes, it's Graham's birthday, so
Happy birthday, Graham.
Yes, we're gonna be drinking well for you tonight. So when we were talking about doing if you haven't seen it, so the link is in the description. The previous show Kevan and I did was the Drams through the decades from the 50s through the 90s, which were incredible. And at the same time, we're looking at all those bottles. He's pulling out all these closed distilleries, and I'm like, OMG, OMG, OMG. So we're at the point where like we're gonna have to have a second show just for closed distilleries. So that's what tonight is. You've been pretty busy since the last time you were here. You had another big life.
Another baby.
Another
boy this time.
Little sweet boy.
Or a boy this time.
Yeah.
And shout out to my little girl who's 5. Air hugs and blow you a kiss.
Your daddy's on TV, kind of, sort of. He's a rock star, if you didn't know. Thank you for sharing him with us so we can have fun tonight. Yeah. Hey, Ian, good to see you. I'm guessing it's mid-afternoon over there. I never quite know if it's like 10 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Australia. So thanks for joining us, friends. Yeah, so what I wanted to do is, when you think about closed distilleries, if you're a whiskey enthusiast and you use one of these, you love this book, and this is my travel version. I have 2024, but this one stays in my bag the whole time so I can deep dive into it. You figure out what we have missed as enthusiasts. And when you have the occasion from time to time to maybe have a dram of something from a closed distillery, it's really pretty special. And what I think a lot about it, as I did in the description, is like I feel like all of this is history sitting on this table. You can't see what we're going to hold up each of the bottles, but when we go through these, I mean, the idea of some of these places, there's no structure left. They're that close. I have the phrase "ain't there no more" kind of came about after Katrina, and God love all the folks that were affected by Helene this past week, because they will now know what that term means as well in many respects. That's something that you were used to having and being part of, the fabric of that particular community just isn't there anymore. Some of them have been raised completely. Some have been reborn and rebooted. And so we're gonna have a few that clearly ain't there no more, and then a few that have rebooted. So I'm looking forward to some of the conversations that we can have about, especially those reboots, and why particularly are these so storied and so sought after. Maybe why you decided you wanted to like conquer some closed distillery places. And then I want to hear from you all and let me know what you think. If there's a particular closed distillery that's your favorite, is there one that you're chasing? I told Mark Broda earlier today, I said, we got a herd of unicorns. That's the best way I could put what's here. But yeah, just really, really pretty cool. So Chad, you've enjoyed some from a closed distillery tasting a couple weeks ago. Very interesting. Yeah, you'll have to let us know which ones were your favorites and maybe some surprises and some okays. Yeah, real interesting. And by the way, it is 9 a.m. in Perth, Australia.
Okay.
Right now. So East would be about
13
lunchtime.
hours.
Yeah. Just thanks for being here at any rate. I appreciate it. So let's get into pouring. We're going to have our first one and we've been very careful. We've already killed a cork tonight. And yeah, just a wee bit for me because that's good. So our first one, y'all ever heard you ever heard the term "go big or go home"? I think we're starting out that way here for sure. So hey, Trooper, good to see you. So yeah, so we're gonna go through. Follow Kevan at BR Scotch. Just needs to post more often. Yeah, it's not like you don't have anything to do.
Yeah,
it's not like you're not busy.
2 kids,
2 babies, and a business, and all the stuffs. And may I say shout out to Sarah for letting me corrupt your husband again. I do appreciate it for sure. But yeah, so we've got these 4, but we got some lanyap tonight. But this first one would be this closed distillery, and that would be Ladyburn. And the thing about Ladyburn is it wasn't like ancient. It started in 1966, but it didn't stick around long. I mean, only 9 years. So you only have 9 years of spirit, and you only have 9 years of spirit. And there's a bottle here in my hand, part of William and Grant's. So the Balvenie, the Glenfiddich, that kind of group, but it's a lowland, so it wasn't up there in Speyside with them. It was further down. So this particular one is 1973, 38-year-old, and Ladyburn in Girvan. So Girvan was where there's still a grain distillery there now, and this was used for some of the blends. And a lot of times in an independent bottling, they would call it I know I'm going to butcher this, Graham. Ayrshire, Ayrshire. So, but yeah, so there's Ladyburn, as you can see. I know, Graham, you've gone to so many of the different places that may or may not still be there anymore. But you'll have to let us all know when you get in here. But this is we'll get this in front. Oh, I'm got it in front of you. So it's a Blackadder raw cask, and it's so 82.4 proof, so 41.2.
And it was the first statement edition that Blackadder did.
Okay.
Which Ladyburn is one of those distilleries that I thought I'd never have, but talk to the right people and find the right deals.
All I gotta tell you, if something happens and we need to get stuff done, I'm coming to find you to figure out how to get in there. The nose is very spicy, like spice, not like hot, alcohol, but baking spices. A little clove and cinnamon on it.
Definitely.
Hey, Molasses, good to see you in here.
But I also we warmed up with that little mill, and I get a little of that hay and wet grass.
Did y'all hear what he said? Too. We warmed up with little mill. Yeah, this is gonna go in the books, y'all. So speaking of unicorns, Graham's Unicorns bottling is a Port Ellen and a Linlithgow St. Magdalene in past few months. I know you have one you were talking about that you haven't opened yet. Is that it?
Linlithgow?
Linlithgow is it's a place, but it's also a castle. And just outside Perth, huh? Well, Linlithgow is the town itself too.
I haven't had my own bottle of that, but I've had my other Scotch buddy has a bottle of it.
Wow. So here's Chad's lineup. 1982 Glenmore, an 82 St. Magdalene, and then a 74 Banff, 75 Convalmore, an 81 Lochside, 82 Dallas Jew, and a 90 Imperial.
Imperial.
So he's a big fan of Imperial. What do you got, floral and
you can
soapy?
still find that. You can still find some Imperial around. I feel like the Single Cask Nation had some Imperial
and
releases.
Signatory is pretty prominent with some of the other that are hard to find. Yeah, Single Cask Nation got bought out by SMWS too, so that's interesting. Ian's had a Signatory vintage of Glencoe. I think it's Glenbergie. So what you're trying? Maybe I'm reading that wrong. I think Glenbergie is what you were maybe thinking. Don't know. A 27-year-old that was 51. Wow. That's goodness. So Jimmy gets to, I was going to say Jimmy gets around, but Jimmy gets to go to some really pretty cool stuff. So over in Limburg Festival in Germany, the 24-year-old Convalmore, 1974. I'm looking at the Convalmore. Which one it is. Drank mostly closed distilleries at that festival. That's amazing. That's really cool. And then, and tell me what y'all think. But to me, I wonder, the way this whiskey was made, the way it was off the stills, when you start looking at it, came off the stills in 73, 79, 84, 91. Though, well, first and foremost, OSHA wasn't even working over there like it does now. I mean, there may have been times people were drinking while they were making it, which they can't do anymore.
No.
So the way that it's made, and perhaps the quality of the spirit that came off the stills is probably not what some of it would happen to be like now.
I think they should let them start drinking again.
They probably do too. Well, that's interesting. I figured it was gonna be a lot sweeter on the palate than it was from what I got off the nose.
So when I grabbed it and opened it for my son's birth, I really don't think I realized it was a lowland, or I remembered it was a lowland. And as soon as I drank it, I was like, okay, this is a lowland. Probably not something I would drink every night, but I think it's closed. You can't get it anymore. So you kind of enjoy it, or almost force yourself to enjoy it more, or think about what you're drinking and enjoy it because of the history and the fact that you can't get it anymore.
Yeah. And only 9 years of production. So, I mean, there's some of these others that had almost 100 years. And not that there's, thousands of 100-year-old casks out there. I'm not meaning that. I'm just saying that they were more prolific than something that made single malt to be put in a blend back in the 70s and closed, like when they did that. I mean, in 75. So it didn't even hit the bust in the 80s. Most of these that are closed, you'll see 82, 83, 84 was about that time where there was a big gluttonous on whiskey. People weren't drinking it, so it just kind of went by the wayside. Which means we get to, chase it, or have a friend, have the friend that likes it. So you mentioned lowland, and it's very much, it's spicier than most lowlands are, but you really get the grassy floral part,
right,
big time.
But I think it has that spice and that cinnamon in it because it's as old as it is. You don't get that in a young 12-year-old little mill.
No, and like this one is 38 years old, so I'm getting definitely some wood effect from that. Does it say what the actual casking was? If it was a particular type of cask?
Single oak cask.
Okay. So it could have been a new cask. It could have been an old bourbon cask.
Refilled.
It tastes it tastes hotter than 41 too.
I'd say so too.
Yeah. Hey, Stacy, welcome back home. Cheers, everyone. If you did not follow Stacy on her wonderful trip to Ireland, go back and go through her socials. I'm sure she's going to have all kinds of content coming up on her channel. Give her a follow, because she was really happy this past week. I'm really happy for you. I know Stacy, it was really something. So this is why I love it so much. So Ladyburn was demolished in the 70s, and since it's been replaced by Alyssa Bay.
Okay.
So that's where it is on there. And you are visiting it in November. So I'm planning my trip next year, Graham, and you and I are going to have an agenda. I'm just going to say, we're going to go to some places that I know I haven't been.
Alyssa Bay is the one with the kind of different bottle.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's kind of
like a roundish.
I don't know. I don't think I've had any. Oh, you got to see Scotland all the way from over there. That's awesome. That's great, Stacy. I'm so happy for you. I can't wait to hear more about it. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to a little bit on it. So our next one, we might be here a little while, folks. Our next one is Dallas Dew.
Is that good?
Perfect. Thank you. Founded 1898, closed 1983. Speyside, owned by Diageo. You'll see there's quite a few Diageos in here. And then this particular bottling is a 1979. Beautiful, beautiful bottle that you opened tonight.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Gordon MacPhail. And let me do this. So this is our bottle of Dallas Dew. Speyside, Gordon MacPhail. Oh, wow. Okay.
Get some tropical fruits on the nose.
Yeah, big time. And can y'all hear us okay? I just want to make sure in case I need to turn up the mic or anything. Oh, thank you, Ian. So Glenugie is from Peterhead. Is used in Long John blends. Okay, and at the same time as Tormore, Lefroy, and Ben Nevis. Okay. Oogie is the river that terminates at Peterhead in the North Sea. Oh, see, I love it. We all learn. Maybe in part he's a Scot, so he knows stuff. I'm getting something on the nose. I haven't quite figured out what it is.
I got like a marshmallow.
Almost, it's a different spice. It's not anise, or because I really don't like that, but I get more malt on this one than I did the other.
But it's not malty. Sweet.
Very sweet.
But not
with a punch of sour at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And a good kick of spice on the front end, and then it just kind of, it's very chill on the finish.
Yeah, it still lingers, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't die.
Hey, Whiskey Scouts in. Hello, friend. Good to see you. So you have an unopened. The oldest would be a Glenlivet 12. That's from the late 70s and 80s. Those are really cool because those blends do not taste like the blends of today. Those are treasures you have there for sure. Yeah, it's very sweet up forward.
Mm-hmm.
More almost like a confectioner sweet than a fruit sweet. Mm-hmm. To me. But very clean. Yeah, you know, not like not a dirty dram. I do like a dirty dram.
Even the mouthfeel it's not crazy, but it's nice and smooth. It's not thick. It's not thin.
Yeah.
It's just a good.
It's pretty. It's like overall very, very balanced.
Yeah, it's a good drinker.
So, with Dallas Dew, it was located up in, I'm going to say Forest. I don't know if that's the pronunciation in Moray, up closer to Elgin in Speyside than Dufftown. So it's like very close to the sea. Like when you come down from Brora and Clynelish, and you come down and you'll go through Glenmorangie and you hang a left and you go over the top of Speyside. That's kind of the area. That you're going to have a little bit of a coastal side there too. That's where this was. And Dallas Dew means Blackwater Valley, which I had no idea. That was the case. And now, and I'm going to say my validity police, aka Graham, is it truly a whiskey museum now? They don't have really anything or they're not producing there. And how close is it to Benromic? I mean, it seems like it would be pretty close to those, I would guess, for sure.
Doesn't Glen mean valley?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Dallas, Glen, yeah, Valley of the Deer, Glenfiddich. I think Dallas Dew means the Blackwater part.
Okay.
It is on my bucket list to do Duolingo and learn Gaelic. It's, yeah, I know it enough to be in trouble.
I couldn't even do Spanish high school.
So. It's okay. You need to learn the cuss words first. But then you have to also understand that the Scots basically invented all the cuss words that we use. So it's okay. According to my friend Gregor, that's the way. Okay, so again, Graham to the rescue. It was closed in 1983. Yes, we had that. And then donated to the government as a preserved museum. It's currently in the process of being reopened by Murray McDavid people. Really? So are they going to open it up as Dallas Dew, or they're going to use it for Murray McDavid, which is very interesting. So that's a whole other conversation, because there's so many independent bottlers that are getting into actually making whiskey now.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Gordon and MacPhail have 2 or 3 that have been Romic, and then they have another one up there, and shoot, I know it. I see the name. I can't think of it.
Do they have the Revival? Starts with a G. Glass.
Glossy. That's Brown-Forman. But there's another one that they're doing. Dang it, I can see it, and I know Alana works there. Shoot, I can't think of it. Anyway, but they're doing that. Adelphi has Ardnamurchan, you know. So different ones are starting to distill. So very
I did not
interesting.
know Dallas Dew was reopening.
I wanna know more.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. That's why we have Graham. Graham's on. He's right there. He's right there he's our field reporter. This is so very balanced, and I mean, and a neck pour, 43%.
I do agree.
Yeah. Really nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that one just kind of hangs, and it's just really nice. So it has reopened as the distillery near Forest, where Benromic is. Okay, so I did have my geography right. So yay. Also Gordon and MacPhail, the Cairn, that's it, near Grantown on Spey. That's right. Thank you. I know you're right. I was just really happy. I was thinking of what it was.
It's like when I watched Jeopardy.
Yeah, I knew that one. I knew that one. I'll take potpourri for 1,000, Alex.
That's really good.
That's awesome. Okay, so we're on to number 3. This one is my contribution. Everything else is brought to you by this lovely gentleman here. And that would be Caperdonich. So Caperdonich started in 1887, closed in 2002, a space side owned by Chevis Brothers. And this is an independent bottling from Lanark of 1992, 23-year at 46 ABV. And it ain't there no more. So this particular one was, it was on and off. So it started at 18, it operated, I think 87 is when it was founded, but they definitely shut down in 1902 and then came back in 1965. And basically it was like the Glen Grant 2, number 2. And then they ended up naming it Caperdonich, and it was tore down in 2011. And I know that Graham knows this part. This is there, and here's our bottle. This is, let me do that. There we go.
Let me get my face.
I know. So it's Caperdonich. I can't do my left and right backwards. There we go. But this one we got it at Specs in Houston. Had this and some other ones. And Zach, I don't think Zach is on. I think maybe Mark JG, you might have had one of these. I know when Roy was over, he was really happy to get a 23-year-old Caperdonich for what that was. So that one was bottled in 2015. And Graham was at the site of Caperdonich just this last Tuesday. That's crazy. It's so pretty up there, up around Glen Grant. But yeah, so their stills are from Caperdonich are now in use at Falkirk Distillery, and they've just now produced their first whiskeys this year.
That's not going to taste already.
It's
not going to taste already.
It's not going to taste?
No, I snuck a taste already.
You snuck a taste. It's like, yeah.
Let's see if you got what I got.
This bottle's been open a bit.
Did you get like a little spice and then a jalapeno?
Yeah. Very green.
Yeah.
But it's been sealed. It had tape on it until I took it off tonight.
Got like a good seal. Wait, what's that?
It doesn't have peat. It's not supposed to have peat, but I have a little ashy note on it.
Got that too.
It's so weird. I don't remember that from before, but I definitely get this kind of ashy, almost ashtray-ish.
But I try to convert bourbon drinkers all the time, and I will give them the least peated whiskey, Scotch, I can think of. And they're like, oh, that smokiness. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Okay. Very good to know that they occasionally did a peated version. Okay. I think this has got something in it because I did not remember that it did, or it wouldn't be right here in the lineup either. But yeah, it's got to have something in it because it sure doesn't. I don't get it on the nose, but man, I really do.
It's like an ash.
Yeah.
So it's not like a.
And it's more like it is truly more the ash or the smoke kind of than it is like a peat earth to it. I mean, it's sweet up front, then it goes pretty.
Like a light chalkiness too.
Yeah, minerally.
Yeah.
Very mineral, like and maybe some oak there on the end. I was like, who dropped the ashes in the middle of this drink? I mean, have you ever had that occasion where you got somebody's Coke bottle or can that they dump their cigarette in? That's not what this is by any stretch of the imagination. Don't go there. But I'll start singing Copenhagen by Robert Hawking. But the sweetness it's a lighter fresh fruit. Not really, or I don't know, maybe it's a little saccharine too.
I like it though.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the Dallas Dew is doing it for me. so far. I mean, Ladyburn.
I was gonna. It's really good, but it's more to me. It's more the history of it, and
Oh yeah.
I think if I blind tasted it, I'd probably put it to the side. But
You mean the Ladyburn or
I
the
wouldn't-
Dallas Dew?
the Ladyburn. Oh, this
Yeah.
I would drink this like it was.
Yeah, the next time I see that bottle, it won't have anything
Yeah.
in it. Oh, that's for sure.
But now that I know that there's a Dallas Dew, I kind of want to put some aside in a good sealed, like, sample bottle, so I can try them side by side. I guess many years from now.
Yeah, I mean that's why I have like a bazillion samples so I can play with them later. So Ian had a point that Caperdonich had some elusive locals figured out how to drill a hole in the pipe crossing from one site to the other, from one site to Caperdonich to Glen Grant. And so I'm guessing there was some liftage, a bypass pipe there that kind of did their own thing. And so the Forsyths that make the stills, coppersmiths bought the Caperdonich site to expand their works next door. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I know exactly where that is now, Graham, because I really wanted to go up there and visit the copper works, but there are not so much people coming to see that. So I need to be pleasantly persistent to do that next trip over for sure. Wow. This is really tasty. We're having some really good drams for your birthday, Graham. That was different.
I was surprised on that.
What surprised you about it?
One, the taste.
The
two,
ash.
the smoke.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever gotten a jalapeno pepper out of a whiskey.
And it was green, like a green fresh jalapeno.
Yeah.
Not like pickle.
Like
Mark's
biting
been
into a fresh
pickling
one.
jalapenos if everybody's seen
yeah,
that on.
yeah.
But this is like a fresh green, like snap crunch into.
And it's always fun to get something different. Yeah.
Sweet.
That was nice.
Awesome. So you think that they ran the pipe from Glen Grant to Glen Lunt for legal reasons and then supplied the liquor some liquid or something? That makes sense. Awesome. Yes, I know, Graham. They're only open during the Spirit of Speyside, which is in the spring, which is tough for me to be over there during the spring. But I just feel like I need to be more persuasive. I just need to turn up the Southern accent or something, and maybe they'll let me in. I don't know. You never know. So we have one that a couple have mentioned here. Oh goodness, that was a hearty pour. Sorry, I poured this one to you from 1984. So here is our next.
Let's get out the neck.
You poured the neck. So another new bottle. Goodness gracious, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, newly opened.
So is that the same one as that? Why didn't we drink that one?
This is Convalmore. This is Rosebank.
Oh, this is the Rosebank?
Oh, did I miss?
No, that's okay. I'll flip over. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. One moment, please. We're getting it all together. Yes, it makes more sense to do this one now. This one I'm really stoked about. This may be my first Rosebank.
Yeah.
What a face. What a face. Yeah. So Rosebank. This is one that's experiencing a reboot right now. So 1840. Oh my goodness. May approach adorable tonight, y'all. So 1840 closed in 1993. So it eked out a little bit longer past the 80s Again, a lowland, but now owned by Ian McLeod. So when you think about Ian McLeod, what else? Who else? Ian McLeod Distillers. What else do they own? They own Glengoyne and Tamdhu, two of the biggest sherry bombs that you can actually come across, right? And they really didn't have a whole lot left to work with, from what I understand. Most everything, some things got stolen, but the one thing that they do have left was the Bobby Mill, because who could pick that up? And the thing about Bobby Mills that milled the grain, they were so good that the company went out of business like Maytag. They couldn't, they didn't have to sell anymore because none of them broke. Yeah, so they have three new Forsyth stills, and it's triple distilled. So my question, and I'm going to refer back to our local Scots, was Rosebank always triple distilled, or is it only now that they've rebooted in 2022 are they doing triple distilled? So that would be interesting to see. Let's see if they have anything on here about that. No. So this is our dram for this. Sorry, wrong thing. Motor skills are going already. This is the Rosebank 1991 Gordon McHale cask. So it is 57.9 ABV for 1991, which is the year I got married. It's 18 years in oak cask. Wow. 55.3. So I have the wrong ABV on the slide. It's a marriage of 3 different casks. Bottled in 2009. So I was trying to guess from what what the picture was. So, but it is 18 years. Okay. Triple distilled, and as soon as I smelled this, I remembered there's one more thing I need to talk about.
What's that?
Worm tubs. Worm tubs. Do you smell the waxiness of the worm tub? It's got a wee bit of clean leash in it. You just that worm tub. Oh my goodness. Yep.
I was thinking of a light floral soap.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just wishing about Imperial.
Well, it's still it's still lowlands. So I think it's definitely floral, almost perfumey on the nose. There's a little bit of ivory soap.
Bowmore that has that soapiness too sometimes.
Yeah.
Like a light laundry detergent for babies.
You would be thinking about baby laundry detergent with a 5 in an infant. Okay. Just checking. Neck pours are totally different. Am I right? Yeah, you're right, Dustin. But this one ain't shabby. Let me tell you.
This one could be a neck pour all throughout the whole bottle, and it would be good.
It would be okay with me.
Yeah.
Oh my word. It's almost soapy on the palate and the finish. There's this okay. I need to use words instead of, I feel like my facial expressions might tell you what I think about this. So sweet. I get a honey, slight vanilla, a little citrus in there.
I was thinking a little lemon.
Yeah.
Like cooked lemon.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. And it's
It's like a little roller coaster. It's not like big up and down, but it's going places.
okay. So pre-war, it was all triple distilled, which is a lot of lowlands are. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Worm tub. Nice. Exactly, Trooper. You got to love a worm tub. So Rosebank is near you. And I knew that it's unique being triple distilled for a lighter spirit than condensed in worm tubs. That gives it the weight.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Oh, Gregor.
Refilled bourbon.
Okay.
Mm.
Thanks for the plug there. My beautiful lighted shelving that I have here, Gregor. Yes. Go ahead and check out that video I just released last week on DIY. I made wiring harnesses, y'all, to get the lighting from one shelf to the other so I could move the shelves because I'm smart like that. It's like I'm really impressed with myself.
I love this.
This is amazing. So
it's a good thing I stuck it in the back because I would have drank this by now.
So you have all that. It is really so. It's what 55 2, 55. I can't read it from here.
55.3.
It's got some punch. I'm going to just take a wee few drops of water. It has like an earthy undernote, not like peat earth, but just like this earthy, still very floral, slightly soapy. And I guess not really soapy, but more perfumey to me.
I'm getting a little clean ash to it too. Maybe that's.
I'm definitely getting malt more with the water on it.
I think the Belvini did some bottling with I don't know what it's called, but they used, I think it's some kind of flour that they burned. I think it was a 19, but I get that. Like they use like a floral plant to toast the malt.
Oh, okay.
I could be completely wrong.
Who knows what they do nowadays?
Or back then.
Right. So since saying that the special bottling, you've gotten in the habit of splitting 2 bottles right away and leaving 2 weeks that they can't drink in the opening that gets done quick. Okay. Gotcha. So Ian McLeod had planning permission for the warehouses near Sterling. Okay. Mainly for the Rosebanks. So I would imagine they kind of pulled those and put them where they needed them to be. That's interesting. So Rosebank is lowland. Is it close to Falkirk? I don't know, like physically where it is. You said it was close to you, close to Sterling, so it can't be too far. And I mean, to have Deanston right there, he's a bus ride from Deanston. We went to Deanston last summer, or last November. Can you believe that's been in a year, Graham? That's just not right. I need to get back over there.
Yeah, I just need to get over there.
Yeah, you do. you gonna go right like crazy when you go over there. And I hope I'm there to see it.
Oh.
Like I would like to be the one to kind of show you around.
Yeah,
it would be so much fun. So Graham's just saying you can, get you. So the Rosebank is in Falkirk. Okay, yeah. So it's open for tours 7 days. Interesting. Okay. So Falkirk is a town, and it has a distillery named Falkirk, and they use Caperdonich's retooled stills. And Rosebank that's where Rosebank has always been.
So every time you say Falkirk, I'm just biting my tongue not to say a quote from Braveheart.
Well, there's the castle and the all that's up there, like the Stirling Castle and the monument for William the Bruce. All that's up there. Yeah. Go ahead. You can yell it. You can yell freedom. It's okay.
It's the men who bled the grounds at Falkirk.
Hey, Graham. He's Scottish at heart. But yeah, you can buy 30-year-old bottles of Rosebank at the new distillery for around £1,300. It's about $1,700. That brings up a good point.
Too bad for
yeah. But that kind of brings up a point that I want to make, and I have no answer for this, right? So Rosebank's kicked back up, and this goes for two of the others that we are going to talk about tonight. Is it was just kind of in 1993, was Rosebank what we think Rosebank is now? In 1993 when those doors shut, if it was that, Port Ellen, Brora, whichever one, was it all that and a bag of chips? Crisps. Was it all that? Because to me, I think it was the enthusiasts, the whiskey enthusiasts that went, oh my God, this Brora is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, this Port Ellen is unreal. This Rosebank, covet it like it's your first child.
Right.
And I think these reboots are banking totally on that cred that came straight from people that are enthusiasts, and they're already pricing themselves out of a lot of those same people.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like disheartening in a way. I don't know, maybe wrong. Is Rosebank going to come out with what they do at 10 years and put a decent price on it, or is it going to be Rosebank every time?
Well, I hope not.
And is that Rosebank, the news Rosebank, is it going to be anywhere close to this dram?
That's the answer that no one knows. We hope.
We won't know. Time will tell, right?
Yeah.
Time will tell. Perfect example. In 2000, you could buy a Rosebank for £40, and you could buy a Port Ellen for $90.
That's what I was thinking. I think it was 4 years ago. The Rosebank 21 special release was $400. I bought a couple at Calandro's down the street, and then a couple in what's the Aquista base.
Mm-hmm.
Bought a couple from there, $400. Now you probably can't get one for under
right
$1,000 or $2,000.
But 24 years ago,
40,
it was, and £40 20 years ago, that was probably close to $200.
Yeah.
In like in terms.
I was also in 8th grade in 2000.
Shut the hell up. In 2002?
2000, I was in 8th grade. 2002, I was a sophomore.
Baby. Anyway, I would just like to say I'm as matured as this Rosebank. And we're just going to leave it at that.
That's good.
Yeah, and that's really interesting to know that these older drams were just enjoyed by normal folks who would find it, and by now, they're so popular that the prices have increased and becoming more mainstream. Very interesting. Yep. Make him stop Scotch on the Bayou. I can. I fuel the fire over here. Are you kidding me? Guess who's benefiting from this? He's a super nice guy. Has really good taste in whiskey.
Are we going to Brora next?
We're going to Brora next.
All right.
And I've been assured that he's taking care of his children's college education.
Kind
of. Okay. So, one more dram.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
You drop her.
One moment. Let's get the water. Oh yeah. Thanks hanging in there with us, guys. These are, like I said, herd of unicorns. Please pour some of that out. We are having a really good time.
Too much
with craziness. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's Brora.
It's Brora. And I have to tell you, it was about a year ago that I had a Brora 35. And it was with Roy Akavite when he rolled out all his favorite drams for me when I was over there last year. Y'all. So let's talk about Brora. Brora. Two more drams. Yeah. So Brora, 1819. Should 1819. We took a little trip. That's the wrong song. Closed 1983. Again, it's Diageo Highlands. Absolutely stunning view from Brora and Clynelish next door. But in 2021, they started a reboot, of course. What we're having tonight is from the Brora Distillery, so not an independent bottling, but from Brora. And it's 1978, bottled in 2013, so a 35-year at 49.9. Wow. And about Brora. So yeah, it was next to Clynelish. So it was the original Clynelish. It was called Clynelish forever. And then in 69, I believe, it was renamed as Brora. And for a while, they made some really heavily peated whiskey, like heavily peated up to 73. And from 73, after, they would do some lighter Highland peat. And then, in 83, they pretty much shut down. And I think they changed hands quite a few, like all the distilleries, they changed hands quite a bit. And Diageo just like kind of wiped the slate clean in 83, 84 and just started shutting everything down. But they of course then rebooted them in 2021. And so this is our bottle, and you will see, there we go. Bottle 35 year from 2013. And you see the fauna and flora of the wildcat. There aren't a lot of big critters over in Scotland, but they do have wildcats, and that is a big Brora Clynelish thing.
So when you say wildcat,
it's like a bobcat. It's small. It's more like a lynx. It's more smaller.
It's bigger than a bobcat.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh no, then it's smaller. They're pretty little, like a really big cat, like a dog-sized cat.
Kind of like a bobcat.
Yeah. There's a bronze bobcat at Clynelish. So
is there a hunting season over there?
Yeah, they do, but it's mostly for like birds and stuff. So they do have Brora, when they started their reboot, they had the same stills. They had everything pretty much intact. And so those were refurbished. They had a new washback, new mash tun washbacks, Oregon pine. And because it's Clynelish, basically 2.0, 1.0, and Clynelish is 2.0, wooden worm tubs. Yeah. So are you gonna get the waxy Clynelish?
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Not as, I feel like I had the 34, I think, and I felt like that was a little waxier, but this does it.
It just fits my mood. Oh my heavens! I get the wax on the finish big time.
Yeah.
Hey, Battalion, Bobby, good to see you in. Brora. Bottles so expensive now. You can book a tour, truly. The tour is an experience. 3 drams in a meal, 900 pounds. That is getting too fancy for your own britches, as we say down here.
Do you get to stay there or something?
They should do a whole lot more for you for 900 pounds. Let me tell you than they do. Because it's Graham. I mean, I don't know what you think about that, but I think that I think Brora, their reboot. I'm pretty disheartened in the way that they just pretty much said, okay, we're going top of the line. Because I think they purposely are excluding people that enjoy whiskey, but not at a price point that's just absolutely ludicrous. And yes, I'm not talking about 35-year-old. I mean, they can serve something else that they have that is not, well, most everything they have is really old because everything. If you say something that came off the still in 1983, the youngest they have is 40 years old. So I get it. It is very much, aimed at the rich tourists. I just don't want it to become a Macallan.
So
I don't want the pretentiousness around it. I want it to. If it's supposed to be Clean Leash on steroids, okay. But what is the new Brora going to be? Is it going to be, 40-year-old plus old Brora with a high price tag? Or how are they going to do? Is Brora going to issue a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old,
So I wonder, so when they get to having a 12-year-old, will it be priced more than Macallan or at Macallan prices? If it's at Macallan prices, I'm definitely going to buy it, try it.
Yeah. I wouldn't say you're still atypical. then
doesn't mean I'll buy it again and again.
Right.
But if it's good,
but you'll try
I will buy it.
I will just say there ain't no way in hell you can get around that is so freaking good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So what I hate is that, that's so good. Well, why is it good? What are you tasting?
I mean,
what do you smell on
the
it?
waxiness, there's like a honey. It's an experience. When I enjoy whiskey so much, it's almost I don't want to pick it apart and say, oh, it's this, it's that. It's like I just want to enjoy it.
Right.
But I know
so it's a moment.
Yeah.
You're feeling it in the moment.
I know
so
we're trying to relay that, but of course you get the waxiness
all these people,
and the mouthfeel.
All these people have had a whiskey that did that to them.
Right.
Right. And I think, when I'm having this, the very first thing I think is balance. There's nothing one way or the other that's just so far out in left field.
But I still think it takes you on a ride.
No, I don't mean that the journey's not there. All I'm just saying is it's like, whoa, that's just kind of off, one thing that's off.
Oh yeah. There's no negatives.
There's really no negatives.
Which I don't think there was any negatives about several bottles, but I'm really thinking about the Dallas Dew. There's no negatives on that. There's nothing that goes crazy, which I think this has a little bit more. Oh, I get a little oiliness, a little waxiness. I get a little honey in it. But yeah, it's not like hard spikes up and down. It's a great easy ride.
It's interesting. I just had a sip of the Dallas Dew as opposed to that. And the Dallas Dew to me is heavier and sweeter. I may have to have some more of that.
I felt like
I just might have to have a little bit more.
You were gonna say you get mostly like sugar cane or
almost rummy. That's good.
Oops, sorry.
Thank you. No, that's good.
I feel like I'm pouring
for you. Did you show your glass? Like, make sure.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
And you didn't notice I was doing it quietly. I was
Okay.
just like, "Look, Keller."
No, can we show your glass? Because this is way too cute. His daughter did a special glass and did the sticker. Is that just so cute? Oh, can't do it. There we go. A sticker.
Zombie head.
A zombie
peace.
head.
No,
peace
zombie
sign.
hand peace sign. I think. No, that was my first one.
Man, because. So now, what a life we're living right here. Sorry. Hey, William, thanks for coming in. Dallas Dew versus Brora. Damn. I got it hard tonight, right? They're completely different. Oh my gosh.
And to me, this tasting is easier than when we did the older tasting.
Yeah.
I feel like my palate just went, because I feel like they were all really old. They were all heavily oaked, heavily either sherried or just been a bourbon cask for so long that it just gets that old book taste, and it's hard to differentiate. And I feel like those whiskeys you shouldn't do a flight of those. But we did, and it was great. But I feel like my palate just went numb to it, and all I could say is this is really good. But these, you still like going back and forth, way different.
Way different.
So we have some decisions to make moving forward.
I'm running out of glasses.
I can wash your glass out.
It's like.
So are we doing both Convalmores?
So we have two, count them 1, 2 Convalmores. So we have 84. That was a year. Sherry Hogshead. And then you have a Convalmore 58. I think we do that one. Okay. 36 year. This is the one that the court bought. What the hell? No, you won't. We'll find you a cork. Oh man, running out of glass is such a problem. Don't you know it? Right. I mean, so most of these, especially when you see the independent casks, the independent bottlings, those boys got to have a hand tonight pouring. For Scotch for Dummies fans, he's pouring some Sean pours here. But yeah, I know that's a Sean pour for sure. If it's over the bulb, it's definitely a Sean pour. When you're having, but yes, going back to what we're saying here.
They're just watching us drink.
I know. Watch Leanne get really cute and happy. The different pours and being able to enjoy these different things. It's interesting this is like bucket list drams, but you live a bucket list life, I have to say. So I'm just glad you like me enough to share them.
That's why most of them are around there. It's like, I don't want to finish them. Trust me, I could have finished them because they probably went down really fast. But I stopped there. I'm like, I got to share this with somebody.
Yeah.
Because poor Ellen shouldn't be consumed alone.
Right. So, Mark, if I could ask you to bring in like 2 or 4 more glasses, please. That would be very helpful. I don't have a bell. That would be really helpful. Yeah, it's a problem to have. But the point that Graham's making is, for the most part, when these were made, they were never supposed to be single casks.
Yeah.
They were never supposed to be single malts. They were just part of the big machine of blends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it was a blend for Diageo, for Brora, or even Port Ellen, or if it was Caperdonich is part of, well, especially Lady of the Glen. I mean, not Lady of the Glen. The Ladyburn was part of the Kevan, and part and just to add into a grain. So
And I
yeah,
think that's why. Well, we'll get to Port Ellen when we get to.
So this is the bottle. Let me show that bottle to him. This is the Convalmore. Convalmore. Wow. 58. And I was like, oh, these are all 46, 43. No, we got to go. 36 years old. Mark saves the day by bringing more glasses. That's okay. Just whatever works. That's perfect, babe. It's like whatever you can find clean out of the cabinet.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. This one is bottle number 244 out of 300. Single cask, distilled in 1977. Mark probably had sideburns in 1977 and bottled in 2013. So that's our Convalmore right here. That's what we're drinking right now. Again, at 58. So tell me what you
I think we picked the right one.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to turn any of them down, but if you can get it from the distillery, I think that's kind of cool of that particular thing.
So I was curious on, yes, the people that own a distillery can bottle it and say it's a distillery bottling, but if a place was closed down, shut down, or even demolished, they have to take those casks somewhere and
do something with them
and store them somewhere other than their original place.
Right.
So is it that much different from an independent bottling?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, somebody had to have them, like particularly this one is in Dufftown. Dufftown, and the original site was part of William and Grant, so part of Balvenie Glenfiddich. So it's all kind of in that same compound. There's some really cool Highland cows there. I got to meet. The name is still owned by Diageo, but the property is owned by William Grant. So that is interesting. It was made to go into Buchanan's. It was made to go into a blend.
Yeah.
In black and white. And rarely ever was it supposed to be in the form of a single malt. And we'll get to it, but supposedly it's supposed to be kind of like waxy, like Clan Leash. So this particular one, so we're not drinking this one. We're actually drinking the one that is from Convalmore. But 1894 they started, 85 they closed. Again, a Speyside. Diageo owns the name, but William Grant, because of the vicinity, they bought the property. This is pretty funny. When I brought them the glasses, the aroma in the room was amazing. Nobody light a match. Let's put it that way. That's really pretty funny, Mark. Mark will be taking Kevan home. He'll be driving him home. The nose on this, you could just sit with it for like days.
Have you taken a sip?
No, I haven't yet. The nose is got a savory undernote to it. Like it's sweet. There's like sweet feed, like you would have for a horse. Kind of a molasses, oatsy kind of grain.
Yeah. I'm glad you're saying it because
I'm just glad I have enough faculties to say it at this point. I'm just so happy. So again, Graham, when are
I got
you
some orange in there too.
writing the book? I mean, I know your buddy David Stark is putting out books left and right, fabulous books. He's got a new book out about all the new distilleries, which I got to get. He had a fabulous book that you gave me about independent distilleries, which I'm working my way through. But you definitely have so much wealth. You need to get it down on paper. So Convalmore, and it's a $1,400 bottle now. Closed in '85, stripped of all the equipment, sold to Diageo. Sold by Diageo to William Grant, or to have just cask storage for Glenfiddich. So the buildings in the pagoda are there. They were there last week.
So when I first read it, I read Glenfiddich cask strength.
Oh.
And I was like, I've never seen one.
No. Oh, the nose is just so good. It's just savory. So does it say what the cask is? Because I would like swear it's got some sherry in it. But being in the cask for 38 years.
It's not. I feel like you could probably look it up. Or does Graham know? Because
Graham knows everything. Graham, what's the casking on this sucker? Oh man, you kind of get like all back here too.
I'm right here.
Yeah. Oh, it's just the savoriness kind of just goes through it. You have like a sweet, kind of a stewed fruit sweetness. That's why I really think between that and the color, I'm thinking there's some kind of sherry maturation to it.
I don't know.
So you have to go to the visitor center to get your cask strength Glenfiddich. Because otherwise it's 40 ABV and they're phoning it at home.
They're growing.
Oh my gosh. The nose on this just goes for days. Dude.
That
is so lovely. Kind of got this dry finish. This has got to be sherry matured. I mean, it's so complimentary. It's not heavy-handed on it. For 38.
But I feel like at 36 years,
36.
it would be darker. But it could have been refilled.
No, I think it just mellows out so much when it gets so old.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you have the balance. Like, does it take on too much wood influence? But I don't really get a lot of. I mean, there's wood influence, but it's not lumberyard. You know what I mean?
Or that heavy, like drying.
There's a dryness. There's a dryness too, but I get that on sherry matured stuff too.
That's an experience.
That is so freaking lovely.
Get one.
Wow. For a mere 1,300, 1,400 pounds. Good gravy. Like the finish goes really sweet. It has like the dry, a little spice, but then it ends with a sweet finish.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Did they actually put an age statement to their cask strength? You would think so. If it was from a cask, they would at least add the name, the number of years the cask was in there.
Is it Highland Park that does the cask strength that's not age stated?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That was really good. We have one more. Thanks for hanging in there with us, y'all. Nothing like Like I said, it was a herd of unicorns. So you're certain it was a bourbon cask? Really interesting. Yeah, I mean, for that old, I could see it, but it's got a lot of sherry characteristics to it, though. But I have to say, 36-year-old whiskey is not my normal everyday drink. So I will, we'll see. I mean, man alive. 58 ABV, and I'm feeling every bit of it right now.
Yeah. I was tempted to say, we'll give 3 free samples to whoever buys the next Scotch on the Bayou shirts.
Oh, I
that
do.
Merch going.
I do want to say a big shout out. We launched Patreon a couple of weeks ago. When we rebooted in September, and y'all have come out and done so well. Thank you so much for all the camp drummers that are the folks that on YouTube that support the channel. Huge help in making content and helping me make content and I'm planning for next year for Scotland. And also all those in Patreon that are the swamp gators, the big cats, and the mud bugs. That's a really big deal. I'm super excited about that. So y'all are getting certain content on just Patreon. So check that out. Patreon.com/Scotch on the Bayou. Definitely appreciate all of the support. Because we're definitely doing some really cool stuff for coming up with the channel. So I need a new glass. So we have a last dram. We're gonna bust our last.
That's gonna
be mine. The wee dram from Arden American. Okay. God knows I've been in there long enough. Let me polish this sucker up.
So we're going to the last Port Ellen.
We're going to the last.
And we have 2 Port Ellens.
We have 2 Port Ellens.
So we might have.
What a conundrum.
25 and a 33.
Dealer's choice, man. You're the one that brought them. So
like we're gonna have to just let's do them side by side.
Let's talk. Well, we have the glasses for it. So let's talk about Port Ellen. Another reboot that some of the alumni from the Isla Whiskey Academy got to have the first spirit that came off the reboot stills. You dogs, I am so jealous that you got to do that. I'm so happy for you, though.
I didn't just pour 2 of the same bottle, right?
I have no idea. I think you did. Because these look very similar, yes. But do you need to pour that back in?
Try it first.
Let me smell it, and I can tell you.
No.
They're the same thing.
All right. This is the 25. Did anybody watch me pour? That pour.
Oh, Kevan, what'd you do? I mean, I swear those look. I know these are the same thing. They've got to be. And let me smell that because I'm pretty sure that's the same thing too. Yeah, these are all 3 of these are the same thing.
That's what happens on the 9th pour, 9th bottle.
This is different. Right. Okay, so that needs to go back in. That you pour it. Yeah, there you go. You drink
proper pour.
You drink it.
Hold on. No, I gotta pour you this.
You pour me that. I can pour it in there. It's okay. So, founded in 1825 as a maltings, right? Started as a malting mill in 1825, and really the Port Ellen maltings are still there. And the Port Ellen maltings have been supplying basically all of Isla with malt until Port Ellen decided to reboot. And now basically they've cut everybody off. So they're just doing Diageo folks like Kalila, Lagavulin, and now Port Ellen. There were a few of the original buildings that still remained. That iconic Port Ellen of the Dunnage House there. I mean, when you come into Port Ellen, the town, and you see Lagavulin, Lefroy, Ardbeg, and the Port Ellen warehouses, it's just so iconic. You're coming in on the ferry. It's just amazing. Owned by Diageo, of course. One of these two pours is a Gordon and MacPhail 1980 distilled then and then bottled in 2013. A 33-year-old. Which of the two is the which?
This is the 33-year-old.
Okay, the first is, and then this is the 20, a mere 25. So the 33 is 46 ABV. So, yeah.
Which I put the 33 because you might want to try that one first.
So this is the 33?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the 25. Okay. I'm going to smell both. I feel that drinking a Port Ellen out of a Springbank glass is a little convoluted. I'm sorry that you're drinking out of plastic, but
isn't this a whiskey? American whiskey?
Yeah, but it's a single malt.
I saw that and I was
Balcones? It's okay.
Yeah, it's a single malt.
It's good.
That's fine.
They have really good single malt. So you opened a Port Ellen with your buddies outside the Port Ellen warehouse. I mean, how cool is that? You know, a couple of years ago, what an amazing experience. That's where you need to be drinking that for sure. And that just the case is like you're drinking it with the people you know that appreciate it and that you want to genuinely share that experience with.
Right.
I'm so glad that I'm so good. I'm
you
here.
Went to
I'm
that
your
bourbon tasting.
I am your Scotch safe place. Anytime, friend.
Now, if you can make connections to get new make, I know, right? Port Ellen. But I've never tried new Port Ellen, or even they have some bottlings that are like 8 years old that you can find. I haven't bought one, but I'd be curious because, like you said, a lot of them were made for blends.
Yeah.
So getting a 30-year-old that was probably in refilled bourbon casks that was really just made to be put in a blend, but when it gets 25 and 30 some years old, it's great.
Wow. It just blooms. I think is the best way to put it in the palate. I mean, it hits your palate. It's sweet. There's an underlying smoke, light peat, super light peat. Not like a Lefroy, not like an Ardbeg, almost a floral peat. And then it just kind of blooms from there. You get more of the ash on the finish. I'll ask Rachel if she can get us some new make. But they don't have, I mean, they've only literally the first spirit came off the still this year. So there's nothing released new.
But there is new make somewhere.
We could get new make somewhere, but we can't get whiskey yet because
2 years.
3.
3?
3 in a day. Thanks for everybody hanging on to watch two people like really geek over one unicorn after another. So they do have a free tour every month. Wow. Once a month. Otherwise, it's £200. That's like going to the museum on the free day. I'm all about that, Graham. You have to figure out what our bus schedule and what our ferry and bus schedule is to get to Isla to do the free tour at Port Ellen.
I do think Port Ellen was my first, like, oh, that's closed. you can't get that, I want to try it. Kind of,
So part
which
of that,
introduced me to
all the others.
all the others.
So it was more the elusiveness of it, right?
Oh yeah,
You know, the exclusivity of the fact that it ain't there no more. Nobody's making this anymore. There's a
Right.
finite supply of it.
Because I will admit, when I first heard they were reopening, I was like, oh. But that's changing to, I'm excited about it. But at first I was like, oh, you can get it again? Oh, well, that's not that exclusive then. But
you can't get 33
you
here
can never get
until
these,
your kids are out of college and married and having families.
And they'll probably be Macallan prices by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, well, they're going to be Macallan prices anyway
That's
when it first comes out. But the whole point is like that stuff, like 1983, the youngest there is 40 years. So this was bottled in 2013 from 1980. So 4 years before prior it closing, this spirit came off the still. It's bottled in 2013. So the last still was 1983. So 40 years is the youngest that there is of it right now.
Yeah.
Until their whiskey gets done. But I still think that they hang on. I mean, and it's marketing and good for them because it's smart marketing is to hang your hat on your new stuff on based on your old stuff. Is it going to be, you know, is the new Port Ellen going to be close to what the old is? They've actually gone to try to find old employees to say, hey, how did you make this? They had to go back to the drawing board literally and look at the prints because there wasn't much left of the stills and kind of figure out like, what is it? How were the stills made? How was anything built within it? And they just created everything that was new, that was as it was when it was old. So
I feel like the first thing they would say is, well, they would let us drink on the job.
Yeah. And the spirit was shit. No, sorry. So we have 8 years difference between the first dram and the second dram. Yes, we have 2 Port Ellen, y'all. Guys, just generous is an understatement.
These are my last ones, so we got to drink them. So I have to get another one.
Whatever I can do to help corrupt you, I'm here for it.
Flandres has one.
Really?
Yeah. The 13th release, which I think is by far my favorite Port Ellen.
And which release is that?
It was Diageo's 13th release.
Okay.
I think it was a 32 year.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure Graham can.
Well, Graham's not. The whole point was it was used for blends and stuff, right? And it was never supposed to be a single malt distillery. Don't rate it young. 30 years to develop.
Yeah.
That's
what kind of scares me about
the new, right?
Right.
Well, you know, and a friend of mine on Isla said it closed for a reason. What was the reason? Was it not putting out the right spirit at that time?
Are they prepared to wait 30 years and
find out?
Kind of crappy oak cast that take 30 years plus to develop. Are they preparing for that, or are they thinking they're going to sell a 10 or 12 year right off the bat for Macallan prices? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. I can't see how anybody would expect this to be the same. They've got to be completely different. They're being made by completely different people. Even if you had the same equipment, the environment, the malt that you get, all of those intrinsics are different. And I think today people are looking at really working on making sure the spirit that comes off the still is as good as it can be, and not totally rely on the cask, where I think back then they totally relied on the cask. So I think the cask influence had far more greater weight to it than what it does, particularly in the new age of whiskey making. I don't know, because I think those casks are harder and harder to find. You know, Alistair Day was talking about Machrihanish, and he does Isle of Raasay, and he's starting Machrihanish down in Campbelltown, and he's been working. I mean, they're not even broken ground on this new distillery, and he's already been working with the bodega to season cask for 36 months in sherry to be able to use in a distillery. He hasn't run the spirit yet, so I mean, there's a lot of. He's still working on the cask stuff, but he's got to make sure his spirit's going to hang well enough to deal with that cask to be able to produce a whiskey that he really wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Hey, Bobby, good to see you here. Thanks for joining us. No way you can have those issues from batch to batch. Yeah, it's going to be a different bird, but I think I feel like if people are into Port Ellen, if they're into Brora, if they're into Rosebank, and they like certain things, hopefully the new distillers are pulling out those particular characteristics that are going to give it that identity of that distillery. And it's going to be different. It's always going to be different. There's a lifetime, 40 years between start and stop. So it's going to definitely be different. So we have a 25-year Port Ellen, which I find is a little ashier than the other one, the 33. The 33 is more mellow to me.
And did you go back to the 33 after?
I can.
Did it fall flat?
It's not so much flat as it is. I find it sweeter than the 25. I've quit counting how many Drams we've had.
That's what I did a really quick tasting before you drank, so I felt like the 25, after the 25, this one fell flat, even though this is higher APV. But I love the 33.
The 33. Yeah. So, Graham, I'm guessing, considering how many closed in the mid 80s, that 82, 83, 84 time period, that there was just an absolute glut of whiskey that they just, I mean, the owners of those distilleries just felt inventory wise, it doesn't make sense to make any more because we can't get rid of what we have. And I know in that particular time period, people were really going towards clear liquor, like vodkas and gins and that type of thing, which is an abomination in my view. But yeah, so it's really interesting to see how many of them just had to shutter at that time.
A little spilt Port Ellen.
Mm-hmm. I put a little here and a little there. Goodness gracious.
There's something about it that
it's meaty. It's got like that umami kind of it's not Mortlock meat. Like Mortlock, it's very meaty. It's like very beefy and venison-y. But yeah, the 25, I got a little bit more
salted
ash.
meat right there.
Mm-hmm. little venison. Best venison I think I've ever had was at the Port Charlotte Hotel.
Yeah.
And on the island. Oh my God.
Just rub it in.
So good.
You keep on rubbing in the Scotch, and I'm just going to keep on.
You got to get there. I look forward to the time that I want to be there if I'm a fly on the wall or I get to take you there. You will lose your ever-loving mind. You, Bunnahabhain, Warehouse 9, David Brody, got to get this guy hooked up. You would just
send him a free sample.
You would just sit there and say, my life is complete. Everything is fine now.
Once I get college paid for it.
once you get college paid for your 2 children.
I'm not going to
no. Let them get into school and you'll be good. You'll be good. I'll still be young enough to make sure I can go with you. The 33 is much sweeter on the palate for me.
Mm-hmm.
The 25 is very savory and a little ashy, and I would even say more 3-dimensional mouthfeel than the 33. I think that's where you're feeling like it's going flat.
Yeah.
Where I just think this 25, which
that 33 is still incredible.
So this is the 25, y'all. So this is a Gordon MacPhail. Sorry. Yeah. A Gordon MacPhail 25 Port Ellen. This, my one word would be voluptuous. And it's only 40 ABV.
That shocks me.
Which is crazy because the other one.
Because usually when it's 40, I'm like, oh, this.
Well, that one's 46. 33 is 46.
I mean, 46 is, to me, that's almost the bottom of the line for ABV. But
the 40 is not flat or thin at all.
But imagine what it would be cash strength.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's mine.
Thanks, Molasses, for being in. I hope you enjoyed. Yes, this bonus size live stream. We're almost an hour and 45 minutes.
Vodka's the devil's brew.
Vodka is definitely the devil's brew. It is tasteless and just assimilates whatever you mix it with, which is why it's really good with a screwdriver because orange juice is tasty. That used to be my drink before I went to and found Oban in Scotland and went, oh my God, this is my drink. So, okay. We may not be finished with the drams, but I think we're finished with the show.
Yeah. People probably like, we get it.
Everybody's like, yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. So highlights out of all of this, my heavens. Y'all, I mean, Ladyburn, Dallas Dew, Brora, Port Ellen, Convalmore, Caperdonich, Rosebank, Woof, Little Mill. Yeah, a lot. What was your biggest surprise?
Since I've had them all, can't say it was a surprise, but I would say since it's been a while, the Dallas Dew, because this is the second bottle I have for that.
Of course it is.
And I remember going fast. So surprise for the Dallas Dew, but every other one is like I remember them being great. Caperdonich, that was a surprise on
crazy jalapenos.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a disappointment, but
very strange.
The new surprise of having a jalapeno tasting note was awesome. Port Ellen showed up in typical fashion. The Convalmore's delicious.
Yeah.
Brora
is just Brora.
Tell me you've had a bad Brora.
I've never had a bad Brora, including the 34 that you gave me the end of that. Jennifer and I ended up drinking the end of that on the dock.
Yeah, okay, that one.
Yeah, that was really good.
I forgot about that one when you sent me the picture. I was like, oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I gave her, damn it. I can't believe I gave her that. That was the first Dallas Dew I've ever had. Might be
Oh.
the first Rosebank I've ever had.
I think that's not true because I have
You
that.
think?
I think I had that small label on the bottom.
Oh, the
It was a
Adelphi
young.
Rosebank?
It was a young Rosebank. I still have a little left. I should have brought it.
No. I don't know if I had that. Um,
If I would have brought those two Rosebanks, the 21 and the 12, I think it is, I would have
Yeah.
brought all. I think all the closed distilleries.
so I've had a Port Ellen before, but not like these. These were very different than I remember.
You've had the cast strength Diageo
Yeah.
releases. Yeah.
So, and I've had one of the Ladyburn thanks to a viewer that gave me a little sample of that.
How did it compare?
Pretty much the same. You know, really sweet, fruity, kind of interesting. I have a little bit left in all of these glasses, and nothing will go to waste tonight. I can promise you that. Because Lee is already past adorable, and you know what I think about Precious. So, the Convalmore, that was really surprising to me because I hadn't had it really before. But it's very balanced. I'm like quite a few. I mean, Brora is to me is just like balanced. Dow Stew versus Brora, versus Convalmore. There's so many similarities, but when you get to the waxiness of the Brora really comes out. Dallas Stew, you've got a very balanced but sweet dram on that one. Convalmore, I get a little bit more meatiness too. Very impressed that I can recall any of this.
I'm shocked. I'm like, yeah, that is how it went.
Yeah. So this was really pretty special, but this guy's really special to be able to come and share all of this. I hope y'all have enjoyed this scene. Leanne and Kevan get adorable on live TV, so to speak. Big shout out to his daughter, his wife Sarah. Thank you so much for letting me
Air hugs. You better be asleep though.
for letting us corrupt him for tonight. We will deliver him safely at home in a little bit. Guys, thanks so much. We're going to be back in a couple of weeks for a Bob Lair. We're going to be doing a tasting of across the Bob Lair vintages. Thanks to my buddy Mike, who really loaded me up on some really great samples for that. And so I hope you enjoy that. Another lovely Highland malt there. So now we need, he said, so here's your list to go by. Is Banff, Northport, Glenugie, Glenesk, and Ben Wyvis to try.
I haven't had the Ben Wyvis,
okay,
but I've had the rest of them.
The rest of them, of course, he has.
I haven't had. Well, I've had bottles of some of them, but I've tried all of them.
Yeah. Okay.
I've had Banff, Northport, and Glenesk.
Ian, thank you for bringing here.
But I was about to say, you got to give a shout out to Graham for his knowledge of.
Graham is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing is like you can talk about the stuff, but the people in the chat, they're the ones that know the stuff. Yeah. And Graham, like his life purpose is to go to all these different places. He's a steward and a student of whiskey. He's a collector of whiskey books. He's probably got one of the best private libraries of whiskey books in Scotland. And he absolutely loves sharing knowledge, and we're all the better because of it. So thank you, Graham, and have a freaking awesome birthday. We have started it off well. Please get some rest because it's like 4 a.m. now. In Stirling, Scotland. Ian, thanks for coming in from Perth, Australia, and everybody else. I really do appreciate it. Great seeing everybody. We'll be back in 2 weeks to do some Bob Blair tastings. So we'll crack out your bottles then, and we'll have a lot of fun for sure at that point. Thank you very much for bringing all your fancy bottles.
You're welcome.
And sharing them. And anytime you want to drink, available. Thanks again to our camp drummers, our channel members, and our patrons. We really appreciate it. Be sure to watch the credits and see your name. Take care and salute y'all.